What's up, cousin?
Nothing much. You know, I'm happy to see you.
Yeah, I'm happy
per
to see
usual.
you too. Yeah. You know, we about to tap in, kick philosophy like we usually do.
All the time, I'm gonna say what I have to say per usual. Catch up, how it is.
Already. What you been up to lately?
Obviously, working on my book. So it's important I release this on my birthday. So working on that, regrounding myself, getting my health back in order.
Got to mention some things about you, right? In this introduction, 2-time All-American track and field, master's in business administration, concentration in organizational psychology, owner of Doses of B, which is a one-to-one clothing line.
Yep, got some on right now.
There it is. So you do a lot. It's evident. People know that we cousins, because there's a lot of people that have crossed paths with you, and then they see, oh man, that's my baby cousin.
Right, and they're like, how do you know him? But, well, it's my spirit guide, big cousin, mentor, therapist, too. Yeah. You know, it's all of it in one.
Already.
Yeah. But it was really important that, you know, we did this, too, because, you know, you have a lot of things that I adore about you, many traits and qualities, you know, too, as a black man, of, you know, creating safe space for black men and being a therapist, you know, philosopher. You have, you know, your master's, working on your doctorate too, right? Yes, can't forget about that. Your clothing line as well. So it was an honor to do this with you.
Yes, it's such an honor. Yes. So like those pieces you mentioned, Inner Self and Wisdom, therapy practice down in Parkville.
Right.
Where we from, have a nonprofit, the Black and Mental Health and Wellness Coalition, and something else added there, owner of Book King Publishing, and also Loaded Pen Publisher, that you are the first author on there, so that's such cool collaboration in those pieces. And then on clothing line, Success de Gloire, means it's French for success of glory. It's Black Hands by, it's Black Brand by Black Hands, and this is made in Senegal. This is one of the pieces right here
from your trip.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to be sitting down eating some steak.
Yes.
But enough about me, because this is about you. I mean, I'll never call you Brooklyn. I always call you cousin. You know I know. Everybody know you're Big B, but it's just cousin.
I know it's cousin.
It's just cousin. So let's turn it over to you. This is about you.
Yes. So, you know, first things first is we got our 4 sections of the book, right? For Welcome Home. And really, I came up with the title Welcome Home because, you know, going away for college, first of all, I have the greatest support system in the world. I really believe that. I'm so blessed with it, okay? That everybody's so ride or die for me. You know, and every time I came home, I was always met with so much love and so much comfort, and everybody was so proud and happy to see me. And I thought about when I went to my first HBCU homecoming, you know, because I went to a predominantly white institution, and it was turned up. You know, I was turned in, right? You know, it was like no other, seeing everybody there having a good time.
Yeah.
And then some people that, you know, serve, right? When they come home, some people are emotional. So I just thought about the only thing I will have done during this lifetime is spent a lifetime preparing for my homecoming. So when I'm no longer in this vessel, in this flesh that I am blessed to have, you know, I will just have returned. That's it. You know.
You know, that's awesome. Something beautiful I want to point out, because as you know, I was in Africa for 2 weeks.
Yes.
You see this cover right here. Africa is here. It's interesting that the title was named Welcome Home. I've never been to a place where I've never been before. My spirit was there, and the first thing that was said to me was "Welcome home." So I thought that was so. I mean, the cover art's off the chain, and just seeing that, so that "Welcome Home" was really encompassing, kind of like what you're talking about.
Yes, and I think too, I have to sometimes, you know, remind myself, you know, I have a lot of dreams of deja vu of things that I do before I actually get there. And so where I find myself is where I'm supposed to be, because my spirit has already arrived. You know, it's like my higher self knew I was going to be there. God knew I was going to be there, but I had to catch up in the flesh. So I kind of feel like I'm at a place where I've done my work. I'm proud of who I am. I'm in an unapologetic space. I don't want it to be digestible. You can choke, right? So I finally am that comfortable in my skin, and it's, you know, welcome home, B. Congratulations, your ancestors are cheering for you.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
they're
yes.
so proud of you. The barriers you're breaking, you're doing it for your womb after you, and the generations and the women that you came from before you. Everybody's rooting for you. So I want that energy of that spiritual heritage. You feel that when you read this book. So it's not just my love, it's the love from my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, everything that I have came from, that came from the womb, that wisdom of the womb.
Yeah,
That's what I want, that welcome home.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Well, because, you know, because we're poets.
Okay.
We're about to jump into this.
Let's get into it.
The first poem, I want to read some lines from. The whole poem is dope, but there's two particular lines when I come across them. It's kind of like eating something savory. It's just kind of like, that piece.
Okay.
The lines in the middle of this is refusing to honor unwarranted suffering. All the attempted teachings she tried to share with me.
Yes.
What was going on when you wrote them lines?
You know, so the first section of the book is Fate Laughs at Possibilities, right? Because although I'm very wise for my age, there's still a lot of situations I, you know, should have technically known better, right? And I learned as a woman that I could not bully or shame myself into being a better woman. And, you know, that negative self-talk and how could you be so dumb and how did you miss these signs? Well, that didn't help me heal and it didn't help me change, but taking accountability without criticism of myself and giving that Brooklyn a hug and not dishonoring her, right? So when I, you know, talk about that unwarranted suffering, yes, I was supposed to meet these people to learn a lesson for my involvement. You know, I kind of think of men how I think about money, a tool for financial freedom, tools for me to evolve during this lifetime, right? So these, you know, poems and lessons are not about them, it's about Brooklyn's lesson. So yes, I was supposed to experience them to learn that lesson. I can carry the good parts of the past with me forward, but did I stay and was more loyal to a situation than I was to myself? And that's where that dishonor and resentment, I was so angry with myself, I was angry with my parents, I was angry with why didn't anybody tell me? Well, I had to take accountability because everybody else on the outside looking in probably saw those signs, but they had to let me go through it for me to learn. So that's kind of that unwarranted suffering piece, what I meant by that.
Okay. So go a bit deeper here, just reading this piece. So I'm curious, when you explained the unwarranted suffering piece, what was the thing that, as you look back, or would you say that it was the shadow work that brought you out of that? Do you feel like you had to heal your inner child in order to get to this place of going, that's who I was, that's not who I am?
Absolutely, and you actually posted something last week,
Oh.
and and forgive me because you know I forgot the terminology for psychology, but it's 4 different boxes, right? And it's the way you view yourself, how other people view you, what people see about you, that sort of thing.
Oh, the Johari window.
Right. So shout out to my therapist, Shanae Adams. So we did that exercise, right?
Okay.
And, you know, it was like, well, what are some things that people say about you that, you know, you don't feel are true? And I'm like, that if something goes my way, everything goes awry. You know, everything, I always have to be right, stuck up, materialistic, all these things. And that's when I started to embody radical acceptance. And I stopped labeling, so I took ownership of what people had to say about me, right? And I received it, but I didn't internalize it. I didn't make it a part of my identity, but I received it. Okay. Heard you, okay, I guess, right? But I didn't label it good or bad. I owned, okay, this is who people view Brooklyn as, so there must be some truth to it, because that's what people see, right? So as I live in my truth, you know, so many times people are committed to seeing me one way, and I think it makes them uncomfortable, because I really represent duality. So you know, wanting me to be one way because that's most comfortable for you, you're probably going to be disappointed. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because you know, I'm mutable. I'm a Pisces woman. I'm ebb and flow. You know, so I do what I want to do, what feels right at the time.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Some people are so used to seeing who you were, they can't see who you was, but that's more of a projection of where they are, because what does that say about their view in their eyes?
Right. And about themselves. Just like if I'm thinking about, I don't like this about this person, this trait or this quality, well, is there something internally that I don't like about myself? Is there something that's making me uncomfortable to where I don't like that about them because something is resonating that makes me uncomfortable?
Hello.
That's how self-aware I am today.
Hello.
Okay.
That emotional honesty.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
That's dope. In the next section, you can name the section after that.
Okay.
So, it sure would be sweet.
Yeah.
The 2 lines pulled out of this. A Pisces woman whose love is as deep as the sea, craving companionship, took a back seat to my independence.
And it will. Because, so when I was in like this resentful stage and operating from my ego first, right? And before I got to the self-love and the self-respect, also welcome home, right? Nobody can ever take that away from me now. It was, I will no longer let anybody take advantage of me again or mistreat me again. So it's like before I let somebody disrespect me, I'll be black and blue in the face. Okay, again, right? So, with that piece, love as deep as the sea, the way I love all across the ends of the earth for you. I was raised by 2 Virgos, okay? So it's gonna be deep and passionate, and it may not make sense to everybody else.
Okay.
And there's so much of the sea that remains undiscovered for our protection that we cannot discover as humans. And that's how I feel my love is that deep. So you will never know if you do not experience it from me in an intimate way and always on how deep and uncovered that is.
Okay.
Yes, but and I'm still single. My mom is so ride or die. She's gonna take the day off on my birthday because I don't have a date or a man this year, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna have a date because to me it's more important that I honor myself than stay in something that I know is not in my best interest.
Thank you.
To stay in something, no, I won't, talk down on the woman I was because I needed the lesson, but I'm responsible for who I have always been and more so who I am today, right?
Okay.
So with that, love is not a priority. My spiritual heritage is, right? I will be a wealthy woman because I'm financially literate. I live below my means, right? I'm making sure of it. I'm making sure of it. I know how my work ethic is. Do you know what I mean? But my spiritual heritage, was I kind to people in the time they got to experience me? Why do I love people? Is it because they can do something for me, or is it because I love everything about them and who they are, right? How do I treat people that can't do anything for me? So I'm more concerned about that, and I have to do that and leave that behind. So if I should have a child one day, if I should, have great-grandchildren when I become an ancestor, I told my story. Maybe there's a great-grandchild of mine in the future that loves writing poetry and can say, your great-grandmother Brooklynn was an author and she wrote poetry. She went through that. So this isn't just for me. Healing is not just for me.
Already, I love that. There's a piece, because it's evident we do this all the time.
And we do.
So digging deep here, there is a piece that when I was reading the book,
yes,
and when we sat down last time, I brought this up. I said, I could tell that as you're going through this maturation of writing, and I see it, it's just, you're already a great writer.
Thank you.
And remember, I don't know if you remember what I said to you. I said, I sensed that there was some afflictions that you were healing.
Right.
This is what I was grasping, because when I sat down with you, I had already read half of the book and then I read the other half.
Right.
So talk about that piece when I brought that piece up, and do you still feel the same way when you answered it last time?
I feel like 80-90% the same way. Just because as more time goes on, I feel like time heals almost all. Right?
Almost,
or,
yeah.
We know how to navigate situations better and mitigate it, right? That's what the tools are for. So it may not heal it, but I know how to maneuver through this comfortably and stand in it, and I'm unwavered by what should happen next.
Right.
So I think with that affliction, what I have now for it is I have compassion. I want to have so much compassion for myself that I do not have negative self-talk. I do not beat up on myself. Because I remember, couldn't get through prayer. My heart was broken. He didn't break it. I broke my own heart because I was disloyal to myself and I knew better. Okay, so trying to meditate and praying during that, couldn't get through a meditation session. Praying, crying on the way to work, crying myself to sleep. So there was so much affliction there and shock of feeling like, how could I be this much harm caused? What did I deserve to have this happen to me? And then, forget that. What role did you play in allowing it? Was that affliction, was I really wanted to, so there's a lot of stuff in there that's not really edited. It's not always super poetic in this book because it was me writing. So I don't do a journal, right? I just write when, I'm falling in love or out. That's it. That's what inspires the book. I don't got nothing else, So I wanted to make sure if it was raw and uncut and it wasn't necessarily perfect, because that's what I was going through at that time. So how can I have something relatable if I didn't stay true to the process when it was time to publish the book? Because I needed to be more formal and how, for education, higher education, how we have to write, but I was writing from my heart to heal. So I spent a lot of time being sad and disappointed with myself and being shocked that how did I miss all of these signs? Because they were clear. Why did I refuse to accept what was, even if it made me uncomfortable? Why couldn't I allow myself to experience deep connections for only what they were meant to be? Everybody's not a husband.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and why does it have to be the end all be all? How can I welcome detachment without suffering?
Yeah. I like that. Because some people are chapters, and some people are just sentences, and some people
and
are
I've had
periods.
both. Right.
Oh, I'm on that roller coaster.
And that's why we have to chop it up how we do. Right?
Already.
And then some people, they didn't deserve to experience us to begin with. And that's no shade, that's what it is.
Yep.
Transition
out.
Yeah.
Transition out.
And I have, so before we move on, so that name of that section, My Girl, my inspiration, Zora Neale Hurston.
Come on.
I love her.
Okay.
Harlem Renaissance. I wish I could talk to her till this day.
Oh, okay.
The shade she threw, the political statement she had. Do you know what I mean? So I like that she said an envious heart makes a treacherous ear. Because I wanted to eat them up with that. Because I said, well, what does that mean? Well, when somebody's telling a narrative about you that's untrue, or they're telling it in a space where they're jealous of you, or they dislike you, or they're listening with that ear, they're gonna find the most negative thing about that story, right? So I know that, the lies that have been told on me, I mean, it is what it is, because the truth will outlive all those false narratives about me. So that's why I have an envious heart makes a treacherous ear, because you're already listening for what you want to hear. And I'm gonna tell both sides of the story, and now we're all quiet. And now I'm wrong, and now we can hear the pencil drop.
Right. Come on now.
Okay, so that's why I like that section, because Zora Neale Hurston, she gonna come with something, and I love it.
Yeah. The truth does not need any assistance. It stands on its own.
Okay.
Hello, those who gossip to you will gossip about you.
And that's that.
Come on. Yep.
So what you got for you? I'm scared of you because you're getting me with some good stuff I forgot about.
They get to get a glean in when we're kicking philosophy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this other one, BFFR. When we first sat down, it's not like I'm too many years removed, but I remember you had to say this for the culture, and I looked. I said, what? I said, okay. So. Say what BFF are before I read these two lines.
Yeah, so this must be from the section with Big B.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
so
course.
this is the West thesis. This is the section for the girls. This is for the culture. You gotta eat up and down.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Big
so,
B. This is
yes,
Big B, y'all.
that's Big B, my alter ego, because she doesn't care. She's gonna serve it to you raw.
Okay,
You know
so
what
Big
I mean?
B talk.
So with that one, the BFFR for the culture, that is an abbreviation for be effing for real, right? And we're keeping it cute right now. So, but that was for, and it's just like, okay, you are so unserious.
Right.
Like before anything, let's talk about how you're a joke.
Yeah,
Before we
yeah.
move past this, you have to be so unserious. Yeah. So, that's why I wanted that title, because that's kind of the energy of that section. And really just not caring how I'm perceived, because I'm finally comfortable. I feel like I did everything I was supposed to do at such a young age. I'm like, I'm not in any box or confines anymore. I'm gonna say what I have to say.
Yeah, straight up. All right, throw this fastball down the middle. Why should I let your hopes and dreams comfort me, knowing action communicates the truth? In the other line, at the end, I skipped the other line.
Okay.
It says, you know what? Let's do that one.
The first one.
Because that's juicy. Why should I let your hopes and dreams comfort me, knowing actions communicate the truth? Big question mark.
Okay, so for me during that time, when I can look back and reflect, it was a lot of what I was being told, right? So now, from experience, I hear what's not said. Because men tell me what they think I want to hear. They've attempted to manipulate me. Some succeeded, not no more, but some have succeeded. I'll salute you. You did good.
Yeah.
You got me. You caught me slipping once, okay, so what? Okay. Okay. So, yeah, for that line, it was just like, you're telling me everything I want to hear. You are, could be hyperventilating, in tears, and the actions.
Yeah.
And I have to do this and pause.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, well, where is it backed by? Anything?
Right.
And if I have, you tell somebody to take their time, they take all the time in the world. You could have it. You got it, love. Yeah, I'm okay. So for me, that's what that, like, why should I let your hopes and dreams when actions communicate all there is? That's all it ever has done. So I started looking at actions and hearing what wasn't said.
Hello.
Because that's where the truth was.
That's the truth.
More often than not.
Okay.
What's the other line you got in there?
Why should I hold on to the past when I know what's coming is better?
And they better be glad I can't snap as loud with my nails. So, for me, that part is understanding that, my highest good is here, but I have to call it in. So if I'm being resistant to what's next, I'm being resistant to change, and I'm, not being mutable and adaptable, and I'm worried so much on the past, I'm going to miss what's to come. Do you know what I mean? And typically, in my experience, what's to come has always been better. And that's why I have, I heard she made it from scratch. Shout out to Diane, that's my mom, everybody. We have the same middle name, she just goes by it, so I say that, okay. So what I have for that is, I just wanted to really communicate like every part of the journey if possible and get down to the nitty gritty. So I just really needed, the hopes, dreams, and lies, and then also what's better is coming, right? So knowing when I was taught how I was brought up, when you suffer a major loss, a blessing is coming. Knowing you reap what you sow. Knowing I believe in karma. I have to pay off my own karmic debt, right? Now mine I feel like comes really fast. Some people's, I don't know if it's to come or not, but mine comes in fast. So I think that was knowing that for me, is that with any loss, there's always something to gain. There's always something to gain. So just looking to the future with optimism and trust, and trusting where I'm at, even when I can't see it, because it might be beyond my comprehension. It might surprise me. It might be a bigger blessing than what I had planned. Because while I'm going through this, I was being prepared for my departure. And that's just what it was.
Yeah. Because how much would you say played into this we could call it an identity adjustment.
I like that. See, you be, yes, doing it, cousin. Okay.
This identity adjustment, how much of that ingredient has something to do with you getting to your God self in terms of Ifa, Yemiya, or Batala,
yes,
and some of those pieces?
I think I definitely did become more spiritual, you know, as we could see the candles and the crystals and those things. I think a lot of that I can thank, you know, my mother for, right? So yes, it was Bible banger, and she's gonna have her receipts, but it was also the truth in religions, right? And then, you know, being taught to, although what we're told, don't take that for face value. Go further. Go past slavery. Go past what was oppressed. Go past that. Don't stop your spirituality there, you know. What is really good is, you know, might be made to look bad or vice versa. So understanding that. And I think for me, doing what I was afraid to do, because that's what is taught for religious beliefs. But intuitively, it did not feel wrong. It actually felt like I was in very so much alignment with it. So with that, you know, I have much more spirituality, peace, and paying homage to ancestors. And for me, those are my guardian angels, right? So even though I call you a spirit guide here, I don't think it's coincidental. I have so many people or friends in my life that I feel like I've known them for forever, I connect with. Well, it's because we are meant to experience each other in this lifetime.
Right.
So I think of, you know, understanding that I'm an extension of my ancestors, and my ancestors are the closest thing to God, right? If my ancestors were made by the Creator, well, then what am I? That means God has to be living through my ancestors and through me. That's what that means.
Yes,
so I have to walk in that. I have to be empowered by that. So that's why I have my sacred woman reawaken, right? I have to watch about my diet. Can I keep my diet light? How's my meditation? How much I wasn't resting, right? It broke my body down. I wouldn't have thought that it would have, you know? So really being cognizant of what I'm putting on my body, what I'm ingesting into my body, who I'm around, who's taking my energy, where my mental space goes, where you said, my emotional equity. How much do I have left of that to give? So just trying to be aware of all things, because to me it's all connected. And I want to pay homage from myself down the line through.
Already. There it is. Shut it down. Yeah. Shut it down. Because you want to read the author's note piece, because the other one is there's a poem at the end that I want to throw a fastball down the middle for.
So that's before the A Season of Solitude brought in forever. And if I recall, that's the author's note about being open to everything, and change also meant being open to pain, right? So I think that's more so of releasing my attachment to outcomes and closure. Because there were some apologies that I wanted that I no longer want. I don't need it. Okay, because I gave closure to myself. So again, back to therapy, the empty chair method. What do you wish you can say? Because do you need to have this conversation or engagement with somebody when you're no longer going to continue this connection? You no longer honor or desire this connection, right? So I think for me, really being open to all things is, I said, of not being moved or easily wavered, right? You know, walking into my purpose. Do you know what I mean? So I really wanted that author's note in there to communicate that. And there were some things that I did that I wasn't proud of, right, at a point in time. Some lies that I told, right, that I didn't need to. I didn't want you to know my business, but that don't mean I need to tell the lie. Right. You know what I mean? And then two, self-sabotaging connections. So, you know, now I'm able to look back and being in a damaged space of holding on to what never came, right? So because I experienced this man, I have so much gratitude, so much admiration for him, and he may not know, you know, because to my knowledge, he's happily engaged now, so there's no need to reach out. That's disrespectful. But because I experienced him, I have hope and faith that I will also experience another good man. And if it wasn't for that, I might be discouraged. I might say, I don't know, I gotta call it a day. Call it a wrap on all this. The dating scene is outrageous. Do you know what I mean? So I think for me, it was really being open to all things meant being open to however it ends, I'm still okay because it's still what I'm supposed to experience currently.
What do you think the universal reminder is with, because me and you, we're close, so I know exactly what you're talking about,
Yes.
right? What do you think that universal reminder was when you experienced that, and because you wasn't ready at the time?
Right.
What was that universal reminder for you to carry into the future to know the difference?
I would say if I truly, in full transparency, if I'm looking back, that universal reminder is, next time you want to fight for a man or for a relationship, fight for yourself. And I think, it's no shame, and I had to unlearn narratives, right? That's my accountability of this ride or die woman, this woman that is praised for suffering. Some men get better. In my case, that didn't happen. So that's why I was upset. Well, why did it work out for other people but it didn't work out for me?
Right.
And I want more women. I want more Black women. When they say, hey, this is what I want from a man, this is what I want to get, I don't want them to be told their standards are too high. I want them to be told your prayers are answered. You get what you're in alignment with. Do you know what I mean? And ask what you want and ask for everything. Those are the things that I want to be told to Black women that are young. Not the you're gonna be, old and bitter and your standards are too high.
Yeah, we talk.
That has nothing to do with anything. But of this, unconditional love to me meant lack of boundaries and unconditional tolerance. And I became uncomfortable with that. So I don't talk down on those women that have endured the suffering, because there is something admirable about it. But I also want to praise women that don't. And I feel like because I am that woman today, it's often viewed in a negative light. And it is of, oh, you're too strong or masculine, or you need to be more submissive. And, well, can you give me something submissive to be about? Because it's giving, we're both on our feminine energy.
Right.
I don't know what you want me to do with this.
Right. Right.
So, I think that's what that is. And I just really, I want more of that. We need more of that.
Yeah, we really do. We really do. I remember when we were sitting down last time, we talked about the significance of unlearning things, because we're conditioned to always go, I want to learn to do better. I want to not make mistakes. Mistakes are a part of life.
Right.
People, I get it. Learning is a lifelong journey for a lot of us erudites. But who's willing to unlearn?
And the most successful people, even with business, right, are that root themselves in their strong suits and their strengths, right? And the most successful people are willing to unlearn what's no longer favorable for their situation.
Thank
no
you.
longer, it doesn't matter if it's scary, if it makes them feel uncomfortable, if they don't know what's on the other side. And I'm so willing to unlearn everything I need to be a woman that I continue to be proud of. Because I'm finally proud of the woman I am today. Do you know what I mean? So I can imagine how proud I will be of myself at 30, 35, right? Because I'm proud of who I am today. So I think that unlearning piece takes a lot of courage, because you're faced with a lot to confront when you go to unlearn things. It is an identity switch. Everything I have known to be true, that I felt deeply to my core, is no longer existent. What am I to do now? Who am I to be upset with? Yourself. Because you're the only one responsible for it. Yeah.
That's true. I like that. Yeah, you're the common denominator in all your problems, no matter how you want to chop the formula or the
however
equation.
you want to slice it. However.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We love doing this stuff, man. Y'all really getting a glimpse. So, the last poem.
Yes.
Right here. So fitting. And it just so happens I didn't intentionally choose these lines like this, but it just happened to be in this pattern. So, of course, I chose the poem Welcome Home. And I know you'll talk about why you named this section this, but I want to take it one line at a time.
Okay.
So, this line that I highlighted here is coming home meant releasing everything I've known to be true. It's something about that known to be true piece, you know, because there's people that believe things in their mind. You got to be careful what you believe, because there's some people that got alternated truths because they believe it. So I'm gonna read it again because I really want to hone in on this true piece. So coming home meant releasing everything I've known to be true. What's that about, cuz?
Well, reading, Bell Hooks and, authors like that, and the unlearning and the therapy and the continuous journey of healing, right? So I used to always think about the light at the end of the tunnel. I am now the light in the dark, wherever I go, okay? I bring it with me. So releasing everything I know to be true is, again, back to unlearning those narratives, right? So I no longer believe in falling in love, because that's how intentional I am at this state, right?
Come on.
So I believe I'm going to love you from start to finish in your love languages, not mine, and hope you catch on and mirror it back in yours, right? Because, for instance, former athlete, if I'm working out and eating X amount of calories, right, to gain weight, the whole nine. When I gain muscle and I bulk up or I get faster, I'm not going to be shocked. How did I get faster? How did I gain this weight? Because I was making sure I did everything intentional to gain weight. So if I come in to love you, I don't know the date and time, mind you. Now I'm gonna be in love. I don't believe in falling there because I look up and how did I get here? No, I was intentional with you. So I knew at some point I was going to be in love with you because I came in to do that. And that's a Pisces where they say, the dreamer and all that in me. That's where, because usually I'm pretty logical. But I think that everything I've known to be true, learning about personality disorders and narcissism, how that messed up my mental 2 years of a therapy bill, right?
Yeah.
So everything I knew to be true after I left, I was still met with so much contention, with so many more narratives, with so much more pain. I thought, why can't I catch a break? What else do I have to do? Why can't I just be left alone?
Yeah.
I wish no harm on you, please.
Yeah.
Please,
leave me alone.
So what else? So everything I knew to be true about my perception of things, how I was and how I want to be. It is no more. That's why I had to birth a new woman, because she no longer lives here, right? Yeah. So, I set that old version of myself on fire to raise a new woman from the dust. That was the point of that.
Okay, I like that. And I have been with a narcissist before, so I'm in that club. It's definitely something.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm keeping the clean language here, right?
Right.
So this other line right here, and then also there was a line you said about, when you come into love, when I hear fall in love, every time I hear fall in love, I hear, can somebody catch?
Right.
Can somebody actually be there to, you know what I mean? And so I don't want to fall nowhere.
No.
I want to walk into something.
And how is the foundation?
Right.
Because if you're relying on somebody else, you better hope the foundation is there. Yeah. Because now, how we are, our cup is full. Yeah. So nobody is responsible for how they make us feel. They're not responsible to, but you have to add to it. I am already happy. I'm already full. But you don't get to come into my sacred space and threaten it. You gotta go.
Right.
We're not doing that. Yeah. And if you're a fraud, I bet you didn't last long.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't last long in the sacred space.
Straight up.
Because it's giving fraud.
Yeah. And the red flags is going off, and then seeing the yellow flags and all of that.
Yellow and orange. Bye.
Yeah, because we don't need to be with people. I want to be with someone.
Exactly. And so I don't know. The whole falling thing, maybe I'm just a logical lover, but if you are intentional about what you're going to do, just like there are steps to tying a shoe, let's dumb it down, layman's terms. When your shoe's tied, you know how you got your shoe to be tied.
Yeah.
So, but I think we're just so conditioned to think about love and this, I just woke up and I don't know how it happened. Yeah. Well, maybe you have to take some accountability and self-awareness.
Right.
Because you should have known how you got there.
Yeah.
And there's no harm in it, but to me, freedom is to love and to be loved for all of me, not some of me. Not because I make you look good, not because, some people think I'm fine, depending on who you ask, It is because of who I am, and you're your most comfortable true self with me.
There it is.
And you cannot be that with everybody else. Your inner child is safe with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That part, right?
There it is.
Yeah.
That connection. Because relationships are energy exchanges. That's the energy exchange. And how foolish does it look to close your eyes and just fall backwards? Why would we do such a thing with love?
Yeah, I guess that's a lot of trust. I don't have it, but that's nice. Either. It's cute. The idea's fun.
Fun ideal. Yeah. Don't try that at home. Let's see, this last line.
Ooh, I forgot. What is it?
My unknown heaven awaits me.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that.
This is the very last line of your book. It's something about the last line written in books.
Yes, and I really try to be intentional with, let me take you on a journey, even if the poem is short or long. And then that last line, I want you to sit with it. Right, so I'm gonna let everybody know, as a wise woman once said, everybody doesn't exert to get the most authentic version of you, but your readers do, right? So the last line, I'll tell you what it meant for me, and I would love to hear, what it meant for you. Because if it resonated with you, it's because there's something I pinpointed in you. Okay. Because I'm gonna eat you up bad. So to me, it was my unknown heaven awaits me, as I talked about, suffering losses and different stages of grieving and healing and those things. And, it's not it's like the joy is in the journey. You know what I mean? Like, enjoy the journey. Like, that's the reward, not after. So it was like my unknown heaven awaits me because I know what it feels like. It is so familiar with me, and I am catching up to it. I'm learning into it. I'm leaning into it. I'm walking into it. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't call it delusional. It's a deep desire. It's a hidden truth that's deeply embedded within me. It's my spirit. It's my higher self. So I know there's so much good. I know I have so much to be thankful for. There's so much I am blessed for currently. So my unknown heaven will welcome me home, and it will welcome me with love. It will welcome me with open arms. So I'm in no rush. I don't care how many more people I'm gonna have to cut off by the next time we speak. Because my unknown heaven awaits for me. And every interaction that I've had, that I labeled good, that I labeled bad, has brought me closer to myself in the end. And I'm so thankful for it. I really, really am. So my unknown heaven awaits me. And that section of the book is a season of solitude brought in forever. So times where I found myself single for months, and it was just me, my journal, my family, and my friends. That's who it was. I was spending time with people who love each other. However that looks like, right? And I was so happy to be a part of that, whether it was weddings, going to parents' house, going to grandparents, hanging out with my aunts and uncles, and, traveling. I did so much traveling last year. So, that season of solitude brought in for me, my home. I've been told I made people feel like home. Well, why did you create hell for me? I've been told I feel like a warm blanket. Well, why did you make me feel cold? So those things that I had to think about, and I've now built a space that people cannot return to because I love myself. So as I love myself, and not in a vain way or in a narcissistic way, but I make sure I speak kind to myself. I make sure I give myself what I'm deserving of first. Whatever I would want to come from anyone else, bring it to yourself first. Do you know what I mean? Because when I do that, everything else, even if it's the smallest thing in the world, it feels like, oh my God, that is so sweet. I'm so flattered. I would be blushing if I was light, because I already have given this to myself. So I'm so appreciative. I have no entitlement to anything of what anybody has to do for me. It's, oh my God, how can I repay them? How kind of them to do that because of what I have given to myself first.
There it is.
So that's what I like. And that's just my own quote I came up with, right? Because I'm an author, is the season of solitude brought in forever, right? And there's something about always returning home. When you drive past a neighborhood you used to grow up, an elementary school, a favorite restaurant, there's something, we know what home feels like, right? We know how warm it is, right? So I was tired of, trying to repair broken homes. I had no home in myself. So, but I was going, the people pleaser was creating a home for everybody else, but me.
Right.
So I'm no longer proud of that. I don't wear it as a badge of honor. To me, a strong woman is a woman that allows herself to be weak, because what the epiphanies you'll have when you come out of that, the compassion that you should have for yourself. We need that compassion. Black women are taught to be strong and not cry too, to be hard body.
That's true.
So I just want us to have so much compassion for ourselves that it's sickening. That's what I hope for us.
That's pretty good. I like that. Very descriptive.
And I think too, anytime I feel lost, all I'm being guided is back home. So when I think about, the day I'll die, hopefully it's many years from now, but we never know. One of my cousins, so young, she was in her master's program, and accident, she was gone. I thought, oh my God, I have to start living. I don't have no crazy college stories. I'm just doing everything that needs to be right. So that's why I needed to release the book, what I was most proud of. Before I leave this earth, that what you got in your hand is tangible. Regardless of its family, it will always be able to be resurfaced. My voice and my spirit will be left behind because I put my soul into both of those books. When my friends read it after I am no longer here in transition, right? Because I believe the spirit lives on. After maybe my child or significant other or, a cousin, right? After I'm no longer here in the flesh, they might read that and hear my voice. The people that call me for advice, they might read that to get some comfort. When I get to cutting up out of line and the Charles and B comes out, that's my dad, he's real off the chain. They might, read that and laugh. They say, oh, she's so ridiculous, I can't stand her, oh my God. So I wanted all of that of me to be left behind so that, it's like when you read a text message and you hear somebody's voice so it makes the text funnier or something like that, or you hear their voice so, that emotion that's evoked from that text message because you know the person. So that's why I'm doing this today. And I want people to feel that when they read that book. At least I hope, right?
Yeah.
That's all I could do because I've done the work.
Yeah, you've done the work. This is the result.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You wanted to know my interpretation of that line. So, my unknown heaven awaits me. I want to start it off with, I'm a God. I own the light that is projected in my life. The heaven is, to me, a mental, spiritual construct of a connection that you have with the universe.
I like that.
Because I noticed even when I was in Africa, even when I lived in Texas for years, when I look up, those stars are unchanging.
Right.
The universe.
Right.
So why isn't there a conditioning for people to believe there's a sky daddy, where there's a heaven beyond the clouds when there's a universe above? And devils have to make their heaven on earth because there's no such place of a spiritual autonomy for devils. Because when you spell devil backwards, devil lived. This concept of heaven.
Right.
Heaven is within.
Right.
Heaven is the mental construct of the mind. I am a God. It's my God self. And the Ifa is our Ori.
Yes.
So when I sing unknown, it's become an intimate word for me. Because I love to learn things I don't know. And how mad or hurt and angry can I be about something I don't know?
Right.
How can I? I don't know. The present is where you get the gift. You have to be present to get the gift. So when this concept of heaven of you gotta rack up your good deeds, cut the fat of your sins. That is a paradoxical illusion to keep people in emotional incarceration within themselves.
Right.
Because I know the difference.
Right.
So when I see
From that fear.
unknown, that fear, that gripping, that spiritual abuse,
right.
but that's their walk. So when I hear unknown and heaven waits me, my God self is always awaiting me, and every day is a new life.
Exactly.
When midnight hits, yesterday so long ago.
Right.
That's a maximum mind.
Right.
Yesterday so long ago.
Right.
So I walk in heaven, and I get glimpses of heaven when I do deep meditations and I write my mantras.
Well, right. And time with yourself is time with God.
And
people, they say I meditate to escape. Well, how? Because you were supposed to sit with yourself. And to me, meditation, I think of meditation as prayer. If you can pray, you can meditate. Because that is a conversation with your higher self, and therefore God, an intimate conversation. I have started off many meditations with prayer. I have ended many meditations with prayer. Because that's what that is. It's time with myself is time with God.
Yeah.
And that's that regrounding energy. That's what we have to remind ourselves in the midst of everything else, and all the materials, and all of everything else.
Heaven's now. That's what I think.
Heaven is now. Let's go with it.
There it is. I want to say something about this unreleased poem. So it's interesting because I remember you mentioning that.
Yes.
So this poem I've never heard. I've been thinking about it. I said, man, because remember when you let me know about it, I said, unreleased.
I know, because we're so close and I share so much with you.
Yeah.
So what were you thinking about?
I was thinking that, when I hear this poem, I wonder what side of this phoenix of, because there's a reason why it's unreleased, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that was the main thing that come to my mind. So I've just been wanting to hear it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just curious. You know what I mean? I didn't think you were withholding or anything like that. But
no, let's get into it. To me, it's short and sweet. And that's just the energy I'm in right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so to me, it's short and sweet. So this is real time, how we get together. And his reactions to my lines.
Okay. This is a special poem,
short.
y'all.
And it's not even titled. I wrote it on, last March on the 22nd. Shortly after a surprise breakup of a decision I needed to make for my highest good, because I no longer dishonor myself. I didn't think about it twice. And just to give some additional context. The first line, it's about time you came to visit me. Okay? It's about time you came to visit me. Why must you seek counsel when all your answers remain within? Okay? This time, I encourage you to carry the good parts of the past with you forward. Let this lesson be filled with so much compassion you move through it with ease. It's time for you to come home. And that's it.
Wow.
And there's no title. It was after the breakup, and that was it.
Dang. Okay.
And for me, it was a moment of release.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, it's time for you to come home. And it's funny because I was thinking about leaving home and uprooting myself, and I was so determined to it, and then life hit me. I got laid off. Oh my God, now what? Right? The home that I was going to make somewhere else, this person also resided in that state, right? So as much as I tried to get away from home, I kept being pulled back to stay. And I think for me, it was understanding the bell is much louder in my backyard. And why not build my prosperity and my wealth here and carry that with me forward?
Wow.
And I did move through it with ease. It didn't tear me up. It wasn't long, and it's now a second back thought in my mind. You know, if I see certain people, I might laugh in public, and I can't help it, and I don't apologize for it because it's a joke. That's all it ever was, a joke. Right. Maybe a serious joke.
Yeah. That's so deep, hearing that, because I know exactly what that's tied to because we're so close, and I know the story piece, and that filled in a piece that we did speak about. But it kind of it's interesting that I mentioned a phoenix part before even hearing it, and it sounds like that, whatever that phoenix energy, that rekindling of that, you know, because how it sounds to me, it sounds like you have this content, calm. Because the thing is, it's kind of like, it's almost like putting out a fire.
It is.
It's best to be calm while putting out a fire instead of taking a fire to put out a fire.
Right.
So when I hear,
and I didn't mean it with fire. I
yeah,
could
see,
have.
that's what
I wouldn't have been wrong.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean it with fire.
I hear the cooling.
Right. I meant it with ease. And I was so uninterested in meeting it with fire on somewhere that I no longer needed to be. And I accepted it quickly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And for all that it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Very cooling.
And it was just really a conversation with me and my higher self. And it's about time you came to visit me. And I feel, here we go again, Brooklyn. Okay, we still didn't get it the last time. Now, I thought you really got it the last time. You see, are you gonna, do I need to hit you over the head and so you can get it this time? So it was kind of that, that thing where it's about time you came to visit me. And it was that lesson that I knew. And it was so funny. I had a friend saying, how does it feel? You've moved on, you're in a relationship. And I said, I'm happy, but I don't get forever. I have love for him, but I'm not in love. I'm a Pisces woman. It's matching pajamas in 2 weeks, the red flannel kind. So, I thought, well, what's going on here? What is going on here? I'm coming to love to begin with. You don't gotta love me back. Move along. So, for me, it was just knowing that to trust myself. And I was able to move through it with ease and not question it. It didn't matter who had an opinion about it, because I trust myself now to make the right decision. It's not about me should have known better, because I know better today. I know what I've done, so I do differently. That's it. And that's all that it ever has to be. So I just think that I'm just so thankful for the wisdom I have now. And I'm so thankful for my support system, because all they could offer me during that deep affliction was love and time.
Love
and that was all I needed.
Dang, beautiful. Ashe.
Ashe.
Alhamdulillah. Good.